the ones that even you did, do you change your game plan? How do you deal with, if you see things, are you able to adapt during the match? You were able to in this match that you were talking about. Yeah. Have you learned that, how to do that? All of a sudden you're in a position, you find yourself kind of, not winning but not losing, but kind of, losing the momentum, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. How do you try to go about getting that back?
Different game plans. We have an A, B, C, D, E game plan all the time. We have the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. We're always going to have that. A lot of fighters don't have that. I have that.
That's good.
I respect that.
I do. I
like
that's
you're
being proactive instead of being reactive.
Yeah. More than anything, it keeps you safe. It keeps you safe.
Exactly. It does.
Because even if I'm fighting a world-class grappler, but he can't strike for nothing. Yeah. We still prepare just in case he does.
Just in case he does come out.
Right.
Just in case he does strike. Okay. Yeah. Or a guy who's a world-class striker and tries to grapple me. We prepare for that.
Right.
I try to adapt to any worst situation. So any situation you try to throw at me, even if it was like a curveball out of nowhere, we prepare for it. Right? Best case scenario, worst case scenario, all the time. This is what happened with Dennis Hallman. We prepared for the worst case scenario. And it's funny, warming up, he took my back for the whole half of second round. Warming up, we was preparing for that. So we prepare for everything, man, all the time, man.
All right, well, we're going to come back to you in a few minutes, John. We got our correspondent, Cody Boynes, with us, a big MMA fan as well, and our hockey expert. Cody, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Joe. Nice to talk to you. I think I mentioned last week when I called in that I was going to be covering a game last night. I was actually down in Lowell for the Lowell Devils and Springfield Falcons game. Lowell takes this one 6-1. Alexander Vasanov with a hat trick. Corey Murphy, 4 helpers. And also Mark Howachuk just down from the New Jersey Devils with a golden assist. But the real story of this game, Joe, as you know, for me was 4 fighting majors. And that would be 4 fights. Kip Brennan, who's a legitimate heavyweight, taking on Miles States. I'd have to give Brennan the decision on this. But a lot of credit to the young kid States. Vasanov had just scored a goal. Brennan goes over and runs him over. States comes on the ice. Probably knows he's got to go with a heavyweight. He gets a lot of respect in the room, let me tell you. So he gets a lot of respect there. States again fights Jake Taylor, not to be confused with Jake Taylor from the movie Major League, which, let's be honest, that wasn't his real name. It was really Tom Berenger. And then in the third period, a couple more fights. Rob Davison, who's played with many NHL teams, him taking on Alex Plant. And then the final fight of the night, which I thought this was probably the best fight of the night, Dean Arseni, who's the captain of the Springfield Falcons, taking on Brad Mills in a good fight. I'd have to give that one to Arseni. I'd say on the night I'd have to give Springfield 2 of the fights, 1 draw and one to Lowell. But like I said, if you have a chance to get down to Lowell, Friday night they got a game down there against Albany. $9 to get into the game.
$9, yeah.
You can't beat it. And like I said, great time last night. And again, if you think you're not going to see some of these guys in the pros, I went to a bunch of games last year and saw a guy play whose name was Nicholas Bergfors, who played very well down there. He's leading the Devils right now up at the NHL level in goals. So you're going to see guys who are going to go up into the NHL, and you're also going to see some guys who might be just finishing out their career and whatnot. But for the price, you can't beat it. It's a great night of entertainment.
Hey, Cody, speaking of a fighter, right, can you give me some good news about Milan? I think I heard something I'm not going to like.
Injured reserves.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again now. You heard about what?
Fill me in on Milan Lucic.
Well, I mean, I guess the reason why they put him on injured reserve was because I guess they had a couple of emergency call-ups because they're playing Friday night in Chicago. Does that mean he's going to be out for longer than you say? Like I said, I mean, when that injury happened, I was almost kind of surprised it was a high ankle sprain because when you saw what happened, it looked like maybe like an ACL or an MCL. I'm not quite, I mean, he was on VH1 Countdown over the weekend talking about the game at Fenway. So, I mean, if he's out as long as they say he's supposed to be, he would be coming back around the first of the year. So, like I said, I mean, the quicker we get this guy back in the lineup, the better, obviously. But, I haven't really heard anything else. But when I saw him on the injured reserve and I saw it on the transactions, I got a little bit worried because I said, but it didn't say long-term injured reserve, which made me feel a little bit better. So I'm not quite. The timetable supposedly is he's supposed to be right back around the first of the year. But in the same sense, don't rush him back just for that game on New Year's, and then all of a sudden he can't play again because we need this guy obviously back in the lineup on a regular basis, unhurt.
Yeah, he's a game changer. He definitely is.
No, absolutely.
Unfortunately, this game that's happening at Fenway has gained a lot of attention nationwide. the Bruins is one of those caliber teams. It's got a solid fan base, and you don't want to see him rush back for that, but there is a lot of attention on this game.
Just he wants
big
to be
attention.
out there,
Yeah. I mean, they're talking about bringing the machine out tomorrow to get this ice started. So.
Yeah, I think they said that there was a chance that they might even let those guys do some skating on Friday.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess it's, I've been watching the NHL Network and different stuff, and they're showing basically how they're transforming the whole thing, and it's quite a process as they're showing and whatnot. I mean, and obviously the biggest thing that day is going to be too is the weather. I mean, what happens if we end up with like a rainstorm like we had the other night?
Yeah.
Then what? I mean, I just pray that there's a couple of flurries and whatnot. It's plenty cold to play hockey, and like I said, it's. I mean, the home team hasn't won one of these games yet, so hopefully that'll change. And also, there hasn't been a fight. Surprising, I'm bringing up a fight again. I know, and there hasn't been a fight actually in one of these games. But I know they played Philly the other night. There was no fights last night. I mean, when they played Philly on Monday night. But if you watched the Philly-Pittsburgh game last night, there were 3 big fights in that game right at the beginning. So I'm thinking they're saving it for New Year's Day, because what better way to bring in the new year than seeing maybe Riley Cote and Sean Thornton just going toe-to-toe in the middle of Fenway on the mound and stuff like that. Doesn't get much better than that.
Cody, you're reaching.
That would be awesome.
Cody, thanks for joining us.
Joe, did you just say I'm reaching?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, Joe. I would love to see that. Cody's right this time, Joe.
I'd like to see it, but what happened, Cody, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, sounds good, Joe. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Take care.
Yep, bye-bye.
John, let me ask you this. Obviously, sanctions, and MMA is finally sanctioned.
I thought you
a
were
great
asking
thing.
if he could skate, because we get him some skates and get him to fight. Get him to fight on January 1st.
That's a good idea. Have him fight Cody. I'd love that. Just don't try to steal a hot dog on Cody, because you may lose. Yeah, he's very possessive of that. But anyway, that's a different story. But anyway, hey, I don't get in. My gnats and him, shots in on him. So, but obviously a great thing. Dana White, what can you say? I mean, it's just
ecstatic.
It's
hometown.
I mean, this is something that he's dreamed about. It's been a long thing. The Boxing Association's been kind of hesitant to sanction this. So, what does this mean on everything as far as the fighters go? These guys that are in these local gyms and different associations, and how will it come out? Will they all be going at each other, or will it be more organized? And how will it go structurally, money-wise, and stuff like that, and promoting?
I think it'll be a lot organized. We're just excited to come to Boston. It's really a big deal for as fighters anyway, man.
Right, it is.
And I think it'll be more structural. We'll come together as one. And I think everything will be nice and smooth, man. This is a big opportunity for everybody.
It is.
One of the things I like about the sanctions that's good about it is that they can't no longer have that same night promotion.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you can't do that no more, where you have 2 organizations having events on the same night.
Right, that's not
supposed to be the states saying that's a no-no now, which is good. That's good for the fans. It's good for the fighters. Like I said, they pretty much were policing themselves pretty good. They were policing themselves pretty good. It's just that now the state's going to get a little piece of the pie, and to be honest, I think it's when I heard the numbers, I think it's a fair piece.
But he mentioned Fenway Park. John mentioned. Yeah. I mean, how good is that for all these different places? Fenway, TK Center, all these different places. Worcester. I mean, you're talking about all kinds of open doors here. It's the biggest upcoming sport there is right now, MMA.
Man. This is going to be the next $1 million sport, man. It's going to be the next NFL, NBA, all the major leagues. It's going to be the next thing UFC, man. I think, we're right there, man.
A real ballsy place to have it would be Gillette.
Yeah.
50-yard line, that ring in the 50-yard line. You get the seats on the field.
They do it. They do everything else.
I think that would be
I'll take on Brady.
Would be a ballsy place.
I'll take on Brady.
I think Dana would do that, man.
Dana's,
I think he'll do it. Don't sleep with him. I think this would happen. You probably do it anyway. Then do it there the next one.
Hey, if the Kraft family can do some of the concerts they did, then I can't see why they wouldn't. It's beneficial to them.
I hope they take grasp of it though, because boxing, you don't see a lot of main event boxing matches. Like the last biggest one I can remember is Ricky Hatton and Luis Collazo, which is not a huge
Jersey
fight.
steals
everything.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Jersey is such the boxing. if you're not in Jersey, it's either Vegas. And I told him about